Welcome to an episode of Chat Sports Talk. And welcome to the 2024 NFL preview video. That's right, I kind of go over the aspect of the NFL. Quick fire round, hopefully not to make this video too long. Kind of give my theories a bit, should I say, of the who's going to get in and who's going to win the Super Bowl. We're starting out in the NFC West. And I think it's going to be really a three-team race for Arizona. It's going to just be another year of them sitting at the bottom. Typical Cardinals fashion for majority of the time frame that I've watched football. They've always seemed to be at the bottom every few years or so. Will have a run or two. Murray had a few good seasons, and just I think the wheels just come off of that train out there. For the Cardinals, the Big Red, 6 wins I think is part of what they're going to be sitting at. For Rams and Seahawks, both of them have solid teams, veteran quarterbacks. You know, the Seahawks, I think, have more of the flashy receivers. The Rams have the no-name receivers that put up the numbers. So it's definitely the you see which one kind of goes, and I think they're almost dead even overall. And I got both going 9-8, both missing the playoffs. I mean, they're just like right there, sniffing it. But the team I think is going to be the team to beat out there in the NFC West is the 49ers. But I do have them struggling, especially if they can't get Brandon Ayuk signed in time to really get the season started. They'll probably struggle, but start still getting them some key wins is when they get to their the first game against the Rams. I think that's where they're going to kind of hit their stumbling block. But still have some good weeks when they win back-to-back games before they lose. So overall, they'll be in a good position, but only getting 10 wins. In the NFC East, remember, there hasn't been a repeat divisional champion in like 25 years plus. So odds are the Cowboys are not repeating as divisional champs. Now, they did re-sign CeeDee Lamb to a historic contract, making the second highest paid non-QB. But they still have Dak Prescott that hasn't had his contract yet. Micah Parsons hasn't had a contract yet. They have a new defensive coordinator now to see if they can kind of shore up some things. The Cowboys always put the stats during the regular season. There's no question about it. They will be a playoff team. It's when they get to the playoffs, a different story. So we'll see how this one plays out. But I do have them winning 10 games, getting the playoffs. I do have the Eagles taking back the division title, winning 12 games. Having Saquon Barkley now in the backfield should really kind of help Jalen Hurts a bit. Losing Kelsey at center will hamper the offensive line. And we'll see how this Kellen Winslow offensive scheme plays out now. But they're going to have some struggles early. They'll get that point in the season where they just finally click. It's going to look bad in the beginning of the season for the Eagles. They're going to struggle. They're going to be sitting behind the Cowboys. And, of course, you'll hear the Cowboys fans talk about this is our year. This is our year. We'll finally break this curse of the NFC East division. We'll become repeat champions. We're going all the way. The bulb's going to burst. Philadelphia's going to find a way to collect themselves, get these massive winning streaks going, and I'm taking the division with 12 wins. Now for the Giants and Commanders, it's give or take. I think both these teams definitely are struggling. The Giants are coming down while the Commanders are going up. It depends on how these games kind of pan out for them. And overall, games could go either direction, to tell you the truth. I mean, I think one of the games I got Washington heading to Arizona, and I got Arizona winning. It was like week 4. But that could go either direction. I mean, it all depends how I see these teams at that present point in time. But I got the Giants slightly ahead of Washington in this aspect, but these two teams are going to be battling to see who's going to be having the number 1 pick. Now, looking at the NASCAR division, that's right, the NFC South, definitely some interesting things. Can Carolina improve? I think they can. Um, it's one of these things where if things start clicking with them, it's going to get them in the right direction. However, it's not going to be enough. I got them and Tampa Bay tied for at 8 and 9. I got the Saints actually finishing last in this division. Tampa Bay is another one of these teams with Baker Mayfield, decent quarterback, does make some mistakes like any quarterback does, but we'll see how that defense kind of holds up for the Saints. It's I want to put more stock into them, but I just can't. I mean, Derek Carr should have a decent year. Chase Young, if he can rekindle his pre-injury prowess, will be a nice addition. He hasn't been the same since he got injured. Maybe the Saints take a few wins here and there from Carolina and Tampa Bay, but the team I got pegged right now to win the South is the Falcons. I think the Dirty Birds are back. Getting Kirk Cousins in there as their starting quarterback will give them a huge boost in terms of the offense. They have some nice weapons there for Kirk Cousins to utilize. And I think they're going to surprise some teams out early. Definitely have some a stretch of wins right in the middle of about the middle of the season. We'll have a month where they should be winning. And that'll be the catalyst they need to take control of the South. Be in pole position and cross the finish line first as the South Division champions. Now head to the North Division, NFC North that is. And for me, this is where, this is what I know about football right here is these guys always going at each other. It's just the bad blood between them. And it's evident almost every time these guys get together. But I think the team that's going to have at this point in the season will be Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy, their highly touted rookie they drafted, is gone for the season. They get a Jets washout who's been bouncing around a few other teams for Atlanta and Minnesota. He should have some decent numbers. I mean, he is a decent quarterback if he's given the time to throw. He has a great receiver in Justin Jefferson to throw to. We'll just see how things kind of play out. I don't see no more than 7 wins for Minnesota. Nothing against them, but it's just one of these things that, there's too many question marks, not enough answers. For me, who's going to win this division? No, it's not the Bears. I got Detroit win this division. Right now, they're poised to repeat what they did. Not much change with this team, and as long as Campbell get this team gelled together, working together, and doing what they did last year at a greater level, should not be an issue. There'll be a stretch where they'll lose a few games here and there and kind of bring them back down to earth a bit, kind of humble them. But once that happens, no problem. They should win this division. These two teams actually you can go either direction. It really depends on how both their games go. I got them split. That's the Bears and the Packers. There's a lot of hype in Chicago right now with Caleb Williams. Everyone's backing him up. They're all falling in love with him. They're like Justin Who and getting Azun as well to be his primary receiver, plus DJ Moore on top of that. I mean, that's 2 good receivers right there. Running backs are halfway decent. Tight ends halfway decent. The line's improved. The defense still a very stout defensive unit. Will there be struggles? Absolutely. But I do think the schedule is somewhat favorable for them to have a nice stretch of wins that will really help them out, to really propel them to probably a little bit too much hype. They'll come crashing back down towards the end of the season, but have enough wins under the belt to get them there. I think Chicago could have a 10-win season. I also see them going to 7. So definitely have that nice window in between, but they go, anything less than 10, I think they're out of the playoffs. 10 gets them in. I got the Bears shockingly in the playoffs. I got Green Bay winning 9 games. mean, nothing against Green Bay. It's just the inexperience they had last year. Now you chalk that away. Now they had a year under the belt with Love in his receiving core. They have that year to bond together, the offseason, the training camp. There definitely should be an improvement there. And Love's definitely one of these quarterbacks that looks like he's going to be poised. Maybe it's a sophomore slump as a starter. It does seem to happen there from time to time between quarterbacks. And that's what basically turned it to. Plus, there's a lot of interesting matchups they have in their schedule that could spell doom for them. I mean, especially when you got a stretch when you got the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Lions, and the Seahawks. These 4 games right there, they can lose all 4. I haven't actually won one of those in that 4-game stretch. So definitely things to kind of look at in terms of the scheduling by having 9 wins and just sneaking into the playoffs. So, okay, so, just to recap for the playoff picture for the NFC, that's the Eagles winning the East and getting the number 1 seed, barely. Number 2 will be Detroit Lions at 11 wins, taking the North. 3 will be the 49ers with a 10-win season. 4 is going to be the Falcons with a 10-win season. The 15 will be the Cowboys with a 10-win season. The Bears will be at number 6 at 10, and Green Bay will slip in at number 7 with 9. It'll leave Seattle just on the outside looking in with the Rams. Definitely a hodgepodge of teams there, but definitely one you can look at and go, all right. Let's head over to the AFC. Now, this is going to be interesting. Do I think the Bills should still have a 10-plus win season? Yes. Losing Stephon Diggs will be huge, but Josh Allen does like to spread the ball around a bit, and he's a bit of a diva, per se, when it comes to getting the ball. All-star players like that, so I hold nothing against them. But I don't think the Bills are repeat division champs. I do have them going to playoffs. I do have a win a ton of games of 11, but not quite there yet. I have the Dolphins taking the division this year. If things plan out for Tua and everything goes the way it's planned, Miami is built very well. Definitely has the ability to do great things this year as long as they stay healthy. I got to win 12 games, taking the division. The most improved team, the team you got to look out for is the Jets. The Jets still have a stout defense. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a fallback in his performance, remember he got 4 plays into last year's season gone with Achilles. That is a hard thing to come back from. But Aaron Rodgers is a tough SOB. And he's Aaron Bloody Rodgers. On the field, he is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Off the field, different story. But they do have a tough going right out of the bat with going to San Francisco. Tennessee could be interesting how that one kind of plays out. I can see that game going either direction. You also got a couple other games out there that they should end up winning. So definitely a few games that could be a factor in their season and can go either direction. But I got them winning 8 games, just missing the playoffs, but definitely an improvement of what they've been before. Last place, New England. I don't think it doesn't really matter who's the quarterback. I think Drake Maye is poised to be the starter. Great quarterback. It's just the rest of the team's trying to find out. And once again, that start of the season is a murder row. We got Cincinnati, Seattle, the Jets, and the 49ers. 3 of those road games. Good luck starting the season off that way. The AFC North, I think, probably going to be the most competitive division in all football. Probably one of the best divisions in all football. And it's pretty much, I almost have them like dead even. it is going to be that, excuse me, that much of a battle. I do have Cleveland finished last at 8-9. If a game here or there goes different directions, it's going to be a different story. I think Deshaun Watson, it's not it. That's just my personal opinion. I do think he showed it last year. He wasn't quite there. Maybe there's some improvements moving forward. Not sure, but definitely has some interesting talent on the offense. I still have Myles Garrett on the defense. Definitely something to watch out for. Definitely anchor for that. I think towards the end of the season, that's when's going to really test them and they test their toughness, but I think that's where they're going to fall short. Towards the end of the season, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Miami, and Baltimore, right at the end of the season, make or break. They'll really determine how this one pans out. Finish ahead of them and still not having a losing season. Tomlin and the Steelers. I don't think it really matters who starts the quarterback. I think Russ will probably start, and I think Justin will take over. Justin gives him a different spark on that offense than Russell Wilson does. I think Russell Wilson is at the tail end of his career, much like Eli Manning, probably should hang up the cleats a year ago. But I have a feeling he will do it. Eventually, they need to figure out if Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback moving forward. Justin Fields does have upside. Maybe getting away from bad OCs in Chicago and going into Pittsburgh. Maybe that changes things. Not really. They're going to be missing games here and there. I got winning 9, but missing the playoffs, which is nothing against them. I got Cincinnati taking 10 wins and getting that last spot in the playoffs. Once again, this is a team you got to watch out for. Burrow is just definitely a quarterback. When healthy, he's one of the best in the league. He has no fear. I mean, he is the kryptonite to Patrick Mahomes, Superman in the playoffs. So we'll see how that transpires, but definitely keep an eye on them. And then Baltimore, I got that one in the division. Derrick Henry's now the running back. Should that really help alleviate some of the issues that Lamar Jackson has? Has a decent running back in the backfield, which will really help him out. Allow him to distribute the ball, especially to their star receiver, Trey Flowers. And I got them just edging out Cincinnati with 11 wins. Let's go to the South. And this one, I think, is really going to be a 2-team race. I think Indianapolis is going to be improved. Tennessee, I don't know, with the controversy going right there with the quarterbacks, whatnot. But I have Tennessee only winning 4 games, so they're still a minute of a rebuild. The Colts, if their quarterback can stay healthy, and that's been part of their problem. And I got to win 7 games. Struggle early in the season. That were really hampering them. I think I got them losing something like 7 in a row, which are really put a kink in their armor, but finishing strong at the end. So kind of flipping the script on the two sides of the season. Houston going with only 9 wins. Now, no, this is kind of going against everything, but now they have Stephon Diggs as number 1 receiver. Joe Mixon is now the star running back behind C.J. Stroud. The line should be still good. I'm going sophomore slump. That's what I'm going with the Texans and C.J. Stroud. He had a great rookie year, almost MVP-like, but definitely has some games in the schedule that definitely going to test them and test them often, especially towards the end of the season when they have a stretch of Jacksonville, Miami, Kansas City, and Baltimore. If they can't get one of those wins, it's definitely going to hamper them from, possibly winning the division and even getting back in the playoffs. Because I got them missing the playoffs. This is going to be the shocker of my predictions. The Texans not going in with all that hype. But I got the Jaguars winning the division. But once again, it all depends on how they interact with Houston. Right now, I got the Jags sweeping Houston. It could go their direction. and it's actually proven. I mean, if it happens that way, then Houston's in with 11 wins, and Jacksonville's out with 9 wins. Just as crazy as this thing can actually be. Out west, I think it's just Chiefs to lose. Denver's definitely made some improvement at quarterback with Bo Nix. The Chargers, Justin Herbert. We'll see how having Harbaugh back in NFL ranks would really work. And the Raiders are just the Raiders. The Raiders, I got them at 5 wins. I don't see much improvement from there. Denver, I got them on the low end at 6. They definitely could get up to 8 possibly. But, it's just one of those things. The Chargers, I definitely do have a huge improvement for them. I got them winning 11 games. So definitely one of these teams you got to watch out for. I think Harbaugh will have them going, firing all cylinders. And I think they got the Chiefs just edging them out for that division title with 12 wins. And with the AFC, the playoffs are East Division is Miami with 12. Coming out of the North is Baltimore at 11. Jacksonville coming out South with 11. Kansas City coming out of the West at 12. So at number 5 would be Buffalo with 11. 6 would be the Chargers at 11. And 7, Cincinnati at 10. With Pittsburgh and Houston, last year's playoff participants, just outside looking in. Now coming to the playoffs, you'll notice this is getting a little bit longer. With the Eagles barely taking the first seed, first round matchup, we see the Packers going to Detroit, the Bears heading to San Francisco, and Dallas heading to Atlanta. Dallas should win that game. Go up to Philadelphia, while San Francisco will head to Detroit. They got Philadelphia Detroit NFC Championship with Philadelphia represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Out in AFC, Kansas City, the number 1 team. First round, we had the Bengals taking on Miami, Chargers and Jags, Bills and Ravens. I got the Chargers and Ravens both winning their matchups, as well as Cincinnati. So Cincinnati will go to Kansas City. Like I said, Burrow is the kryptonite to the Superman that's known as Patrick Mahomes. Cincinnati beats Kansas City, denying the historic three-peat. And then the Ravens in the Harbaugh Bowl will get past the Chargers. They have the Ravens and Bengals going at it. The Bengals have been undefeated in AFC title games. That bubble will burst with Baltimore going to the Super Bowl. And the Baltimore Ravens getting Super Bowl number 3 and beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, quick, down and dirty. Definitely a few games or scenarios that could go either way. And I even changed some aspects when I was doing this with certain teams as well. So it all really depends on how games play out. I think a lot of these divisions are going to be close. There's going to be a lot of jostling and going out there. It's like for NFC teams that are not in that should be, relevant. Seattle, LA, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Minnesota, definitely all should be in the conversation. For AFC, that's definitely, Pittsburgh, Houston, the Jets. I'll even throw in the Colts and the Broncos and the Steelers. It's like AFC, it's a lot of quality teams. And it's like anyone's games, like who can make the less mistakes. I think that's just how it's going down to. There's a few teams where you look at and like, I don't see much happening, like Las Vegas, Tennessee, New England, New York Giants, I think Washington. I think these are all the teams that you look at and like, I don't see much happening with them. I think Denver's going to have some flashes, but fall short. Arizona's going to be the exact same way. Flashes, fall short. So there'll be some interesting matchups coming up and see how the season progresses, see which coach loses out. And we'll kind of see how things play out. I know this is quick fire, still kind of a long video. Didn't really want to make it that long, but we talk about 32 teams and the playoffs and whatnot. it's going to get long-winded, and I get long-winded when I talk about football. So, with that being said, let's mix it up in the comments. What do you think I got wrong? What do you think I'm high on? Yeah, I know. You don't say I'm high on the Bears. I get that. A little biased. But I think there's going to be some dark horses coming up in the season that's going to definitely affect how the season plays out. And games can go either way. One win here cause a domino effect for the season, which will change the aspect of the playoffs. But let me know down below who you like for the Super Bowl. Who you think is going to be the newcomers in this year's playoffs? And you think that, the Bears should be excited for their matchup? Do you think Houston's going to have a sophomore slump with their offense? Is Atlanta going to see their bird rising? Are the Jets going to be able to take off? Let's mix it up in the comments. Once you do that, it really helps boost the algorithm, get this video out to the masses, and everyone else can listen to this old man just ramble and stumble ways through his videos. If you're still here, you like what I do, please hit the thumbs up. And once again, it really helps out this channel. And the other thing you guys can do is subscribe. A lot of you guys are watching my work, and I love you all for doing that. Now, me, you've subscribed. It doesn't cost you anything. All you do is hit that subscribe button, click that bell icon, turn on notifications, let you know next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you really soon on Chat Sports Talk.